Welcome back to another episode of the Opportunity Podcast. I'm your host, Greg L. Frank, the head of marketing over at Empire Flippers. And today I have a very cool guest, my friend Azedine. I met him a few months ago in Saigon. I guess we were in the same area when I was speaking at Affiliate World Dubai, but we kind of missed each other. Azedine is a super cool guy. He's a legend. He's built tons of stuff in the non-English affiliate space, including sites where he doesn't speak the language. His main markets now, if I remember right, you'll hear in the episode, but I believe it was France, Italy, and Spain. And we talked a lot about the consumer buyer habits that people have, as well as how it's so much easier to rank in a foreign market versus, say, in the USA SERPs or even the UK SERPs. So this is a very cool episode. If you're looking to build out your own foreign SEO portfolio, whether by buying from our marketplace, hopefully now that we accept it, or by selling, building out some and selling them with us, then this is a fantastic episode because Azedine has sold around 5 of these sites roughly, and he has done a lot of cool work in the space. So if that sounds interesting to you, you will love this episode. And I'm going to stop talking now and we'll dive in. So I'll see you on the other side. All right. So I got my friend Azedine here. Welcome to the show, my friend. You and I met a few months ago at the Saigon SEO Summit. We had a lot of good chats about your escapades into foreign SEO. And as you probably know now, I think you do, we now accept foreign sites on EF. So I wanted to get the master, the legend himself of foreign SEO onto the podcast. So Azedine, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're at in the
Hi,
world.
Greg, and hi, the whole Empire Flipper team. Thank you for having me. It was actually a pleasure to meet you personally at Saigon Summit. I was, oh, that's Greg from Empire Flippers. I didn't meet him in Dubai. This time he's not going nowhere. So
Can't
yeah, it
hide.
was really, yeah. So actually, my first question when we had that dinner, I asked you, are you guys going to target the foreign website because there's a lot of money to be made, right? Then you were mentioning that you guys were looking into it and all of that. And here we are. A month later, 2 months later, we are talking about it, which is great. Yeah, it was actually really nice to meet you in person.
Yeah, you too, man. And I am glad you asked that question to me because I've been pushing for us to do foreign SEO sites for a long time, like at least several years
Mhm.
at this point. Because I do a lot of conferences across Europe, Asia, and sometimes as well in America. And even the ones in America, my friends ask me about the like, can I sell a foreign site, like a Danish site, or a German site, or a Thailand
Mhm.
e-commerce store or whatever. So I feel like this was the event that finally pushed us into being like, yes, let's try it out. So I'm excited to see what happens as we ramp that up. So I want to talk to you a bit about foreign SEO because I know you do a bunch of different stuff. First off, what kind of
Mhm.
opportunities existed in the non-English market that you wanted to go after? Like, talk to me about just the opportunity of foreign SEO in general versus, say, doing a more traditional, like ranking a site in the English Google search.
The first thing is maybe a lot of SEOs or a lot of marketers, they don't know that the non-English market, it's easier to get in and it's easier to, let's say, rank for keywords or rank for topics, even when it comes to e-commerce. So I saw that opportunity in 2014. I was following actually Niche Pursuit. Maybe you know the guy,
Oh yeah, big
Spencer.
fan.
Yeah, I followed a lot of these case studies, and I still in contact of one of the guys who did even. There was a case study about electric shavers couple of weeks
Famous
ago
one. Yeah.
he added me through LinkedIn. I said, "Do you remember?" He said, "Oh yeah, good time." But he moved from affiliate website. Yeah, it was really nice stuff. So from there, so what I did, I was looking because those guys they were building an English site, and because I speak several languages, I said, "Okay, I will test it on the other languages, or let's do some keyword research to see how the market." And you will find that they are like 10 years behind. I was what? This guy's still behind. So I tested one site and not even a week. The keywords are ranking all of that. I said, let's give it a go. So 2 weeks later, the traffic keeps going. So then what I did, that site was first in Italian, and I don't speak Italian, but I understand it a bit. At that time, Google was really behind, so he couldn't really figure out if it was spammy site or garbage site or whatever it is, because they had no content to put into the Google It, which is Italy. So whatever you put, it will rank because there was no competition, right? So like you are in the desert and oh, there's no one, just throw it. So after that, I tried with Spanish. I lived in Venezuela for 8 years, so I speak perfectly Spanish. Let's not say perfectly because no one speaks a perfect language anyway. So I started with that. I felt more comfortable doing it, and I just ramped up with the content. I was closing the basement. I was just doing that. From that, going to work, from work to home, cooking while doing some keyword research and prepping the articles. It was easier because you didn't have really to look for to check facts, or let's say it's somehow gray hat. That's how, because most of the site right now affiliate they are gray hat. Let's be honest. There's
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
1% which is legit, right? But so the site kept growing. Then I started hiring more people, writers. Then a year later, I'm thinking, oh, 5,000 euros. I was aiming just maybe 2,000 euros just to have in my pocket, and 5,000 euros. No way. I have to scale up this. I moved to Italian as well and French at the same time. All my saving went just to, it was a risk. I put all the money in the writers and kept growing and growing and growing. And for now, comparing for the last 7 years to now, it looks like good catch up with that. And he's targeting just Spanish, Italian, French, German sites. They know where is the issue, right? So they are targeting more that, but still a lot of opportunities. Let's look just on the English side. This is the English side. If you target, for example, Emirates, Dubai, and all of that, oh, you can make a lot of money still, right? So we don't say that the English side it's stagnant market or anything like that. Even in Italy, I remember some people even search in English within Italy, which is maybe a tourist whatever. But anyway, so the market again for the foreign languages still growing and still growing. I'm seeing the emerging markets. I'm seeing Brazil as a Portuguese, Mexico and Saudi Arabia, which is the Middle East, but still they're growing because even their tech and the banks, they're now people are getting used to use cards because Middle Eastern they don't use card to buy online. They are not used to that, but it's
Yeah.
growing market and there are a lot of opportunities. And as you know, Dubai or Emirates a whole, it's growing fast, and now they know how to use it. And they are attracting a lot of nomads to have non-tax
Yeah.
you've
Well,
been
if you're
there.
not in
The
America,
area,
the
yeah.
long arm of Uncle Sam reaches us across the world. If you're an American citizen,
Yeah.
but
So,
yeah, I know a lot of people move to Dubai for that specific reason. I'm curious. So you mentioned a bunch of different countries you're operating in. You mentioned at the beginning that you didn't speak Italian, but you knew it kind of, but one of your first sites was Italian. So if someone was coming in and they wanted to take this opportunity, but they don't speak the actual language, what kind of advice would you give them to be able to run this? Because it sounds like you've done this, yeah. Because your Italian one was successful, but it's not your native language. So, what advice would you give to someone who wanted to get in on the foreign sites, but maybe doesn't speak the language?
yes. Again, the language shouldn't be a barrier for somebody to start with a non-foreign, unless you go Russian or whatever. Maybe it's harder for someone who doesn't have that kind of language. But when you find a writer that you can trust, they actually help you when it comes to the language. They would say, no, you do blindly keyword research and you put some keywords that the writer will tell you, oh, this keyword doesn't make any sense. So they can help you to switch it. But the optimization, all of that, it's the same thing. It's the same English or non-English. The optimization is still the same thing. H1, H2, etc. The way you put the content, the pictures, all of that, it's the same process. When it comes to language, now you have really to trust your writer because the writer can just throw content to you and we say, oh, this guy doesn't speak the language, so I can just, and it happened to me. So that's what I did. Before getting a writer, I put through my best writer and they check the article and they know that there's a lot of mistakes. Or now with ChatGPT, you throw the content and ask ChatGPT, can you correct
This
on
is
this?
right.
And
Yeah.
yeah, Not even that. Sometimes I don't even have to go to ChatGPT. I copy the content, I throw it on Google Doc, and Google is doing a really amazing job to find all the mistakes on the article, and boom. So I know it doesn't make any sense, so I don't hire them. But to be on a good track, you have really to have one writer who you can trust. To be honest, I have even one writer team now. We have a project together. We go 50-50. We share the profit, we share everything, and you know, some maybe the people who will start will say, oh, maybe this writer, then it will take away my business from me because they know how to do it and all of that. Well, if you can't have a little bit of trust, then you can't work. So you have to have that kind of trust and trust people to move forward. And that the only way to help you to to move your foreign website ahead. Unless now you want to translate the content, then you have to pay extra. And the translators are not cheap, the good ones.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that
Yeah.
somebody, yeah, we tried it, and some of them, even a good translator, they throw the content into Google Translate and send it to you back because they know, oh, you don't know
Automation.
language. Yeah, yeah, no, because they know maybe you don't know the language and they can
Yeah.
screw you easily. So always, even when you start with a new writer, term, yeah, I know about the culture, especially the culture, because it's not just about throwing the content. That's another point that I want to tackle when you launch your foreign site. I had that experience between French website, Italian website, and Spanish website. Three different culture. And to prove that, for example, eBay never been successful in France because of the culture. You have to know how people buy, how people browse on the internet. So even when you put the CTA, you should know which kind of CTA you put. You can just translate CTA from, oh, buy this product here or click here. It's different, and you have always to test it to see how your CTR is going up or how the click through is going up. That's very important. So culture, the language, again, you should never say, oh, I don't speak the language at all, because you will be get screwed over. Or and you have to find someone who you can trust a bit to help you and move forward. But the process from keyword research, SEO, and all of that, it's exactly the same thing. Link building, well, you have that advantage when it comes to link building in foreign languages. You don't have to work hard for it, because even when you rank, let's say you rank for best laptop for home workers or for, I don't know, whatever it is, when you rank that article, you get a lot of offers from stores or from people who have affiliate program. They will reach out to you and they will tell you, can you please, I can send you the product. Can you review the product so we can make a deal of how to promote the product on your buying guide? And the good thing is, again, a lot of people, Amazon is not paying high commission. I agree with that. This 8 or whatever it is, then they switch it and back and forth. But if you get these guys to pay you 15% plus the percentage from Amazon, nobody will give you that deal, right? 20%, 25%, it depends. I saw maybe a year ago a website. There was a big company, I will not mention the name. They saw one of my article ranking, and I didn't have their brands in because I didn't like the brand, to be honest, because it was so expensive that personally I don't like to put a lot of whatever it is, the clothing brand. I will not mention it. So they reached out and they give me. They said no, we'll give you 20%. I said okay, 20% plus the 8%. Okay, take it. Screw it, take it. But obviously it was good brand, but for me it was too expensive for whatever they offer. But yeah, we came into a deal, and for that one you can do it from Awin. I'm not sure if you know the marketplace. It's known in Europe. Awin, AWIN.
I don't think so. I'm assuming it's kind of like an Amazon in Europe, like an Amazon competitor.
No, it's a marketplace for, let's say, like share a sale. Share a sale. You know, share a
Oh,
sale.
oh, Awin. Yeah, okay, I do know Awin now.
Yeah,
The affiliate network. Yes, I'm familiar with
yeah.
Awin.
There you go. So there, when you sign up with your website, you make a description of your website and the traffic and all of that. You get a lot of offers. Then you just go through them, which one you want to work with, which one. The cons with it, they pay slowly. It's not like each month or whatever. They pay around 2 months, some of them 3 months. It depends. But
Yeah.
if you make a deal with those guys, just put in your head that the money, forget about the money. Then at the end of 6 months, oh crap, I have $10,000 or 10,000 euros because there it's euros, right?
Yeah.
So okay,
And A1's
I
pretty
can work with
reputable.
it.
My friends who have used them, at least, they seem happy with A1. So I
Yeah,
can
yeah,
slightly recommend them. I've never sold an A1 site, but well, maybe now we will. Maybe we'll sell yours, Azedine. but,
yeah.
but you just said like a bunch of stuff there that I want to unpack because I think with our audience being mostly native English speakers, they're looking at foreign SEO. There's a bunch of stuff that might be holding them back. But you said like kind of my talking points. I was telling them that it's pretty much the same thing. So with the content, the argument I always make is like, well, look, if you have a gigantic authority site, you most likely are not reading hundreds of articles yourself as the website owner at that point. You probably do have a content manager that's quality checking. And it's like just one step removed of slightly different than the normal process. And then when I was pitching us to sell foreign SEO sites to our team, they were a bit unsure about it. But I was like, guys, check out their like because we always get them submitted. We just always reject them, right? So I told our vetting team, just look at their backlink profile. I promise you, like probably like 90% of them are going to have like English backlinks that you can read and see because there's not a lot of linking opportunities a lot of times in these foreign markets. So they end up just buying the same backlinks as anyone else would from all the vendors or whatever, right? So I'm glad you said everything is kind of like similar, just it's like a slight twist. Is nowhere near as big of a jump as I think a lot of English speakers might think it is, right? One of the things you mentioned though that I wanted to stay on a bit. So I live in Vietnam, and if I look at Vietnamese internet, it reminds me of like early 2000s America, where it's just like pop up, pop up, pop up, like it's just like crazy
Correct.
stuff happening with their CTAs. So I'm glad you brought up the CTA stuff. So like in your experience in the French market, let's say you said eBay never took off in France. What was the reasoning behind that kind of stuff, and like what kind of CTAs are you seeing that works in foreign SEO, which I know is based on the individual culture, but maybe you can give us some hacks on how people can figure that out.
Yeah, when it comes, for example, to France, just keep it simple. And if you are going to do a review on products, don't go on a cheap product because French, they like a quality, and for them, cheap means it's not good. That's one thing. I noticed that. Yeah, and it's true. And when you see the returns when it comes between France, Spain, and Italy, because those are the three markets I work into, I suggest German, but I don't have time because German is even higher than France, than how do you call it, than Italy and Spain. Even if you see the quality of the site in Germany, oh, they are way better than France and Italy and Spain. That's for sure. So when it comes to a CTA, just keep it simple. Don't try to spam it or buy the best offer. They don't believe that because when they click and they don't find the best offer, forget it. They will not maybe come back to your website and look for anything like that.
Mm,
They don't. And they're really time when it comes to the money. They will not just spend the €100 just because they want to throw it. They don't have the mentality as the Americans to consume. They are not consumers. They look for the quality. They find the product that it's really right for them. They buy the product, but you need to give them the quality, not throw. Comparing to Spain, Spain, yeah, they like cheap stuff. They don't care. But when it comes to France, no, no, it's
the
true.
secret American brothers over in Spain consuming with us.
Yeah, yeah, and it's not just me who's telling you that. If you see the article that if you go on Google, you put think with Google, maybe sometimes you read those articles. I always read
Mhm.
them because you take something from them. If you put think with Google, put Spain, and you see the articles, you just translate it if you want, and you will see that the way the Spaniard and the Italian look for how to find the product, it's completely different. So you have
Interesting.
really to understand yeah, yeah, you can do it later, you can check it out, and it's really different how they invented even one Spanish word. I forgot, it's like the cheapest of the cheapest, something like that. I was like, what the heck are you looking to? Free, just like yeah, I
Smaller or
read one
less.
of the,
1 euro
yeah,
or
it
less.
was, what do you want? And again, the intention of the user, how they look, it changed a lot in the last seven years, even in the US market. So it's nice to do some digging into the culture, how people browse, but the CTA, just keep it simple and don't try to make it spammy. Even Amazon, no. If you are going to sign with Amazon, oh, if you get that in a couple of weeks, they will contact you. They will tell you, hey, there is no offer. Why you're sending the buyer to? Because I have an account manager. Sometimes we talk and they share some information, and said, no, as soon as we take that, we take down the account. So don't try
Oh,
to even click. No, they are really strict, even worse than the US. You know, you see on the US market, a lot of websites check the price, right? They
yeah.
allow it. But when it comes to Europe, they don't allow it. You have to tell them you are going to Amazon, check the price on Amazon. If not, they would
Mm,
flag you. Yeah, it's different.
interesting.
Yeah,
That's that's a good tip to know.
yeah, with the affiliate network with iWin, they don't care because you're just promoting whatever thing. But with Amazon, yeah. And
Yeah.
as soon as they found out that you are doing something spammy or whatever it is, they will take you down or they would ban you. And good luck with that to get back on track.
Yeah, for sure. So with the different consumer habits, so you mentioned the three different consumer habits there between Spain, Italy, France, and America and Germany. I guess so. I guess four. Has that changed the way you approach monetization with these sites? Like, do you typically? I mean, it sounds like you're typically going the Amazon affiliate or at least the affiliate route. I've had other friends, they go just
Mhm.
pure AdSense because they don't want to deal with the affiliate in the different countries. But does that change like your strategy of what you're going to talk about? Like for France, for example, are you focusing on very high end kind of stuff, like has high price points, versus Spain, you're focusing on lower price point stuff?
I know in the English side, a lot of people push for the higher, the high pricing when it comes to a product.
Hmm.
Personally, I don't do it like that. Wherever I see an opportunity to promote the product and it can rank, I go for that. Because sometimes somebody wants to buy a laptop and then buying a TV or and then buying a fridge. I saw it and you
Yeah.
would be like, oh, so you can't really go that way. Now, if you go, the best but the thing is, in Amazon, they don't have a lot of those products. A customized one, let's say, for example, a chicken house, which costs 3,000, 4,000 euros. And if you can get that kind of deal with somebody who builds them, you can make a quick buck and it's easier and you can rank easier as well. So, but when it comes to the product, I don't really, wherever I see opportunity, I take it because if nobody is writing about it, it's not on Google. Why I shouldn't take care of that and put it there? I don't
Yeah.
care. The traffic is coming, it converts. I don't care if it's 10 euro or 5 euro or 15 euro product. Of course, you can go 100, 200, 300. The problem, another one, speaking about the culture, the tendency in the last 2 years after COVID in France, even if you see the news, people are buying even small things with credit card with slowly payment. So if you are promoting just $500 $1,000 product and people are not buying it, so people are looking for option how to pay slowly with zero interest. This is I'm talking about France. I saw a documentary a month ago. I was like, oh, the economy is hurting, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
don't just go for the most expensive products because you will wait for that income to come in. So wherever you see the opportunity, take it.
Makes
Don't.
sense. Have you
Yeah,
found
because
that the? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
no, because even when you do the keyword research and looking for those products, it will not take as much time as when you look, for example, to prep or prepare content for, let's say, a laptop, right? When it comes maybe a bottle of water, maybe it's easier to craft the outline of the article and all of that. So it's all about the timing and, you know,
Yeah. I'm assuming you don't have this problem with mainly operating in Europe. I was talking to I think you know him, Taylor Kimball. He was also at the Saigon Summit. He has a website in Thailand, and in Thailand, like the affiliate opportunities are much smaller. Like there's just not that many. Have you found your opportunities in Europe to be like you have no problem finding affiliate programs and ways to monetize?
no, I didn't find any problems when it comes to Europe on the affiliate, and now they're really growing faster than before. And there is a lot of opportunities, a lot of network right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
they grow in the last 7 years and it changed. So don't be afraid to getting into the market and look for opportunities. And it's not just with Amazon, a lot of programs out there. I just choose Amazon because it's easier for me. I already know how it works. I know what to promote. And so if I switch to another thing, maybe it will take time to understand and all of that.
Cool. Yeah, that makes sense. I've been to Affiliate World in Europe, and there's a ton of people that come to that event. So I assumed it would be like, you just be there's tons of opportunities of different ways you can monetize once you get going. So that's good to hear. On the flip side, so we talked about some of the major pros, such as it being much easier to rank. Have there been any challenges you face in the foreign SEO market that might not exist in, say, the English Google SERPs?
Right now, to be honest, with the last Google updates since last year, we are getting to almost the same thing as the US market, as the English
Mm,
site. Google is really going after that and they are looking for the same thing as the English side. So I recommend if you are going to build something legit, something based on brand, because really Google is looking into the branding. I noticed I had two sites that got hit. So what happened when I was looking for the backlink and all of that, one of the sites I was getting just maybe for Google, it shows that all the backlinks are towards just affiliate articles. But the other ones, missing just the branding name, which is at 25% of the whole backlink. So I was, okay, so maybe that's another thing that Google is looking to. And for the EEAT, and it's becoming real thing.
yeah.
Even on the non-foreign website, unless you are targeting, like you said, Thailand or the whole Asia or Middle Eastern, they don't care right now. But the
Yeah,
market I'm working,
they're much
yeah,
further behind. Yeah.
yeah, that's how Google
Yeah.
takes it slowly, slowly. Even
Yeah.
I'm not sure if the Portuguese language they are targeting it. For example, taking, like I said earlier, the emerging market, which is Brazil. If you target the Portuguese language, and there are a lot of affiliate in Brazil, even when it comes to health sites, I'm pretty sure you can make a lot of money. But
Oh, I
for
bet.
the three markets I'm working now, yeah, things changed a lot, and they are, going with the US market or the English website.
That makes sense. I feel like if you're ranking in the English market, I used to make this joke like back in the day that I operate, like me personally, in one of the hardest niches. It's basically the make money online niche to the subset of people who actually do make money. So there's like the most jaded
Mhm.
entrepreneurs to my marketing, right? But then you
Okay.
apply like that cutting edge stuff to other places, like, I don't know, candles, whatever, then all the
Okay.
marketing that you cut your teeth on, you become so much better. I feel like it's kind of similar with you're ranking in English Google and you take those skills you learn and you apply it to foreign, you're just like operating at a totally different level in terms of speed and efficiency. Do you feel that
Uh,
way? Like, do you feel like
yeah.
you kind of have like an unfair advantage with your ability to rank?
Well, the only maybe advantage is the languages because I speak French, I speak Spanish, I understand a bit the Italian. But beside that, if you have the skills in the English side, you know how to do the topic research, the new trend words, which is a topic research. You always do it anyway since the beginning. You do the keyword research. The whole thing is the same thing. So
Yeah, yeah.
nothing is changing here. But the other, again, maybe the advantage is the language, but there's nothing, maybe the experience. Let's say since 2014, I'm doing this. Maybe that kind of an advantage because I was learning in the English and the non-English website. So I
Uh-huh.
compare and I even clone my own website to find more maybe keywords to rank for. So that's maybe, let's say, a pro or whatever it is for me. But
Let's
I,
let's talk about your website. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe you build the majority of your sites on aged domains, right?
correct.
Cool.
Right.
So I just had the founder of Otis on, so my audience will be prepped to hear more about age domains. But talk to me about what kind of characteristics are you looking for when you're buying these age domains for your foreign sites? Is there like specific metrics you want in terms of like DR, backlinks, anything like that?
There's two things. Well, before 7 years ago, you can just buy whatever domain and you just put content on it, it will rank. I remember one time I made the mistake. I bought a domain from Odis, or let's bring Craig here, ODOS. He will make fun of
Uh, I am so glad you brought up Craig Campbell because now I can tag him again and say we talked about Craig Campbell on this podcast, and he's going to have to wait at least 29 minutes to get to this one point. It's
Yeah,
perfect. I'll tag him
yeah.
after this.
Yeah, when I watch him, I always. It's Odie's buddy, but I never told him that. But
I, I
he knows
I found
better.
out I found out about Otis from him. So I was like during my podcast with Alex, I kept messing up and kept calling it ODYS. He's like, it's not ODYS, it's Otis. Like, I'm so sorry. Campbell's ruining this podcast.
Yeah, going back to the age of domains, I remember I bought one domain from Odie's, and I built a site on it, and it was ranking. It was start making money and all of that. Then when I spoke with Alex, founder of Odie's, I said, "Oh crap, this website is ranking for." It was a domain. It was about some kind of ocean stuff, something really different. I don't know what was that, but I was ranking for keywords, let's say bikes and all of that. I was okay. That time it was working, but now I look really for branding domains. I look for the DR. I don't really look a lot into it. I look more into maybe the previous pages that were getting the backlinks. That's what I look more because it got the branding side. Now, again, the branding, everyone is going that route right now. So I would focus more on the branding. The DR, yes, you can, but nowadays you can fake the DR, especially with the href. When you
Yeah,
see
yeah.
50 or 40, you don't know. And it happened to me sometimes in the past. You buy a domain at 40 DR, 1 month later, you will find it 20, 15. So maybe you don't know the tricky part of the other guy, what he did, because sometimes I test other domains just to see the difference. You have to test for yourself. You can just believe everyone what tells you. No, you buy this and do this. You always have to test on your own because
Yeah.
that's how it works. So I focus more on that. I check the backlink. Sometimes if it got educational backlink, that would be even more helpful because you got those backlinks. They're worth it. I know in the last maybe 5 years, people stopped building links from there because Google caught up. Oh, a do link. No, no.
Yeah, the
But
good old
those,
scholarship link building method.
yeah,
The
yeah.
classic,
But
classic strategy. Yeah.
yeah, but based on what I'm seeing, they're still working when it comes to that domain. Or when you got the domain with the extension OG, and it works too because Google sees it as an organization. So wherever you
Yeah.
throw at it, it's still ranking. Not like when you buy .com or .it or .fr or .de, which is Germany, it's different. But when you have that organization at the end, I think it got some kind of more love from Google.
I like what you said there about kind of ignoring DR. Like, I have definitely fallen to the mistake of trusting DR too much. Like, just when sites come to get submitted to us, I always look at DR as like the quick thing, like how powerful is this site? I have friends they'll buy DR70 sites. Our mutual friend Carl, for instance, he does that to just rank instantly for things, and I think sometimes people rely too heavily on that metric. So I'm glad that you brought up, like, you should look at the actual pages that are getting the backlinks. Like, what does this look like? Because there are those weird gigs, like on Fiverr, like I will turn your website into a DR80. Like, thanks, $15 DR80 site. Like, this is going to really help me. Like it's
Yeah,
definitely not going to work. You will be a DR80 for like a week or something, but
yeah. I
yeah,
was these days. What I was doing is looking for the big website, like Wirecutter, which is now it's New York Times
yeah,
website. This big website, if you create a website based on the brand and you put really a good content with real pictures, I know a lot of people that are going AI way. I'm going the other way. I'm sticking to whatever it's working now because 2 days ago I was asking one of my writers. Let's think that we are in a coffee shop and I'm asking you to recommend a product to buy. How do you look for it? Don't forget that you write for me just like a friend. Say, well, I look on Facebook, I look on Instagram, I look on TikTok, I look on Google, I look for Amazon reviews. Then she decide to buy the product. So that's already telling you that you have really to make a content that it will stick. So coming back to that, this big website, even now they have to add, let's say, I don't like the word influencer. Let's say somebody who writes about tracking and they really buy the product and all of that. And I
Yeah.
see these big medias, they are mentioning these people as a backlink on their article. Let's say, oh, this influencer who writes about this, he actually said this about this product. Why? So the company, the big media, will not buy the product, but they would just mention that guy who bought it. But okay, they have to link back to it, but it will save them money because they don't want to buy the product, right? So if you create something like that, a product, you review it, you can get backlink like that, which is easy, right? So
100%. Yeah.
instead, yeah, so instead of reaching to start, let's say begging for backlink, buy a product which is $100 maybe and review it and all of that, then publish the whole article, and maybe you can get backlink because those pictures are real. Nobody has them,
Yeah.
and no one will have them. And you can add the copywriting because they can take it. Now, if somebody take your picture, you can sue them for $200,000 easily for one picture, right? So yeah, yeah, I saw it happen.
Yeah.
I saw it happen for one picture. Yeah, you get sued for that. And sometimes they
Yeah.
go, yeah, there are some lawyers, they are just watching that you make that mistake and boom, they will make money on that. You can do nothing
I've
about it.
heard this before. So we had a thing at EF for a while where we had Unsplash images on our listings. And when I found out about it, I freaked out like, no, we cannot do that because Unsplash, like, well, mostly it's good. There are sometimes people who will literally put an image up on Unsplash so you download it that doesn't have the commercial rights because they have people like monitoring that to like come after you.
Mhm.
I had a few friends that did, or I wouldn't call them friends because what they did I think is very shady and awful, but they basically would monitor sites that didn't have like accessibility, like SEO accessibility for people
Okay.
who can't like see colors or maybe they're
Hmm.
blind or whatever. And then they would tell the website owner, like, oh, yeah, you don't have this handicap accessibility. I can fix it for you. And if you don't want to fix it, I have a lawyer that you might need to talk to. As in, like, I'm going to sue you. So it's like this
Yeah.
weird, like, mafia kind of shakedown. Like, I wasn't a fan of it, but yeah, that image thing is a good tip.
But
So you
sorry,
mentioned a bit.
going
Yeah,
sorry
go ahead.
about that. I think it's good to have now website that it's accessible for handicaps
Agreed.
or
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I don't like the shakedown approach that those guys were taking,
Mhm.
but I do agree with you
Yeah.
on that. I think that's the unethical approach of like promoting accessibility, right? Like, if you don't hire me to fix it, I will sue you.
Yeah.
It's terrible. But I like what you had to say there. So I've been saying this for years, and this isn't just like a foreign SEO thing, but just in general, I've told my friends in the SEO space, like, too many of them build what I call a brochure website. And like, if you're walking down the street and I hand you a brochure, there's only like two things you might do, right? Like, you might buy what's in the brochure or you might just throw it away. But even if you buy something, you're still throwing away the brochure. No one keeps brochures unless you're a bit of a
Mhm.
weirdo. But if you have a magazine, you might actually subscribe because it has value, right? It has more stuff in it,
Correct.
and you might come back over and over again. So I like the approach of like trying to become more of a real brand. I wanted to touch on something you said because Taylor also said something similar with his Thai website. I believe he also has a Portuguese website about the buying habits. So in Thailand, he told me a lot of people don't even use Google to buy their products. They're doing like, Facebook Live or TikTok, like kind of similar to what you're
Mhm.
saying. Do you find in Italy and France, in the foreign markets you operate in, is it kind of a similar level as in America or let's say the UK of people searching for products on Google, or are they really starting to search more on social media?
No, they still stick to Google. They still search on Google because based on the traffic, they still looking for Google because if the things change dramatically, you will see it through your traffic. But right now, they still stick to Google. But I suggest to go the route of visual with videos before, even Google now is going to remove when you embed the video from somebody else in your website, they are not going to show it on the video side. You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are doing that. I know some of the videos they're not showing anymore. So
Interesting.
if you create your video, you can make it even a short, 10, 20-second video and you just put it on your website. It means it's yours and you can build something from it. So you have to go that road. Now, if you want to go the AI route, you can do it as well, but it doesn't stick for now, as I know,
Yeah.
because I checked some sites and it grows, then it just goes back down. And
Yeah.
I don't want to spend that much time in that. I rather spend it in something that I know when I sell the website, I can flip it for more and the buyer will just buy it because it's useful,
It's
right?
high quality, yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get into a bit on your selling site. Maybe we have time some of the AI stuff, but before I do that, if someone was looking to get into the foreign SEO world, like what you're doing, do you think it's good for any SEO entrepreneur, or is there a certain type of SEO that should do this? Like, would you recommend everyone to do foreign SEO, or like, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Anyone who is persistent, who wants to make cash, he should get in.
If you want to make
There's no
money, you should
bird.
do this.
Yeah, that's it. There's no magic bullet into it. There's
Yeah,
no, I will show you how to make money to make money. I will teach you. No, this is straightforward. It's there. It's been always there, and people will always buy online. I know a lot of people are worried about AI, but people will always buy laptop. People will always buy food. AI will never change that. Now, the way Google will become spammy, I don't know. I have my doubt that, you know, I'm asking my writers and all of that. I said, no, for me, it's not helpful. What I'm looking here, answered by a robot? No, some of them they don't like. And especially going back to the culture, the European were always against this kind of stuff. And
yeah,
the
yeah,
thing, but they're somehow as they help Google to stay that way. Why? Because every time they want the money, they just slap Google with a penalty. Google, okay, here. But they still share the same thing, right? So yeah, you have really to look that maybe it will work, maybe it will not. But for me personally, the way Google is changing with AI and Microsoft and whatever it is, I don't think it will stick. It's just
yeah.
annoying.
I guess we could talk a little bit about it now, but my personal thought is that AI, like right now, if you can really use AI, human assisted, I don't think you should be using like raw AI outputs, but I do think there's a lot of good use cases, especially in the local world, like local SEO,
Mhm.
like a local plumbing website or whatever. Like, there's no reason you need like a Hemingway level copywriter to be writing that website typically, right? But I think in the end, we'll come to some kind of hybrid. And maybe AI will get so good, like 5, 6 years from now, where Google really is destroyed. But I
Yeah,
think that remains to be seen.
I will tell you a story that it happened 2 weeks ago when I went to Italy. This is really a case study. I will post it on Facebook with the whole conversation. So I wanted to rent a car in Milan, and Hertz, Budget, all those companies,
Hmm.
they are hated in Milan. I don't know why. Just bad reviews because when you go and pick up your car, it's not there. You have to wait and this and that. So you know what? I'm not going with these big companies. I was started looking, and I found this website was car rental Milan. I will send you the link after. He did
EMD right
really,
there, exact match to
yeah,
me.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, you see all the reviews that people left. It was like, what? This guy is perfect. What the heck? So I was curious. I went into the website. The guy even he just matched a theme of WordPress that you can see even at the end. I think Elementor, or I don't remember the name of the theme.
Classic,
So
yeah.
yeah, but the good thing because I was on mobile, then I saw WhatsApp. You saw WhatsApp. Okay, I clicked on it. I thought I would contact the seller or the car rental company. So I was talking with him. Then it was AI chatbot answering. And believe me, the answer were exact. Then I was thinking, oh no, this can't be a chatbot. It looks like real. Then I said, you know what? This is the tricky question. Are you in the intermediate of hertz, budget, whatever? Then boom, the guy came in into the conversation. He said, no, I'm the owner of the company. Boom! Oh, wow. Then I spoke with him. I called him. We spoke and everything, and he was legit. And it was one of the best services for car rental. He brought the car to the hotel, he dropped it, the insurance, everything. And when I came back to Milan, I dropped the car by the train station, and he came and he picked it up. And he said, please leave me a review. And till now, I didn't leave it. I have no time, but I had to leave him the review. It was really worth it. But the way, then I asked him, do you mind sharing who did the chatbot or the thing on your thing? Then he gave me the contact. It was somebody in California. Then when I was talking with him, he didn't want to share more details. He said, are you business owner or not? I said, no, I'm just curious how much it cost that you did. He said, no, I can't answer you that. And he doesn't want to share that. But he
Doesn't want
was
to share a
doing it
secret.
Yeah, and he was doing this car rental. He was doing it for over a year. So this is not something new, right?
Yeah.
That's how you can take advantage of the AI, not the smashing stuff on the internet.
Yeah.
So that guy, he doesn't have an assistant anymore. He has that AI to help
Yeah.
him to move forward. Yeah.
I think like just pumping out AI content as an experiment, I think that's fine. Like, it's fun to test it out, right? But I agree with you. I think people who are like just thinking AI in terms of SEO content that they're ranking for, I think they're kind of missing the forest for the trees because there's a lot bigger things you can do with AI than just writing content. So I have this friend. I don't know how he did this. It sounds very complex how he did this, but he
Mhm.
basically got rid of like all of these team members of his, replaced them with AI, and he has a supervisor AI that's supervising the other AIs, which is like, whoa, I didn't realize we had reached this level at this point. This is
Yeah.
wild. I think he's using something like Agent GBT or Automatic GBT, something along those lines, way beyond my knowledge of AI. But yeah, another friend, he's actually a referral partner of ours. He like ran a chatbot through our entire website, so now people can, when they're on his website that has all of his affiliate links to Empire Flippers, they can ask valuation questions, and it's based off of the corpus of text our blog has, which I think is quite funny. And he always puts his
Yeah.
affiliate link at the end. It's like, hey man, creative, I like it.
Yeah. Looks amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's the way you can use it for your advantage, right? But again, if you are coming to sell your website on Empire Flippers and you have all that AI content and you can see it from a mile away, let's be honest.
yeah.
And
This is why I say human assisted. Like, if you're going to use AI, it has to be human assisted still, because you're right. It can be very stilted if it's like completely raw and completely wrong. It doesn't fact check itself, right? So there's also that issue. But I want to
yeah,
move, as we're near the end of the podcast, I want to talk about your experience of selling these websites. So you've sold 5 of them, right?
yeah, I don't remember, but yeah, around there,
Oh, okay,
yeah.
good. Roughly, a bit just volcanoes of money over here with all your exes. So, tell me about your experience of selling them, because I'm sure there's going to be two types of people listening to this podcast, right? When it comes to foreign SEO, one is going to be the investors, like, I just want to buy it. This sounds really cool, and the other one will be the seller, who maybe they don't speak the language, but they're curious. How was the process of actually selling one of these properties?
Yeah, so when it comes to selling, some of them I sold them privately. Somebody contacted me and they were interesting because they want to build a store on it or something like that, and they want the traffic, not the actual website. I
Mm-hmm.
sold two like that. One of them I sold it. There's a marketplace in France. I don't know if you
Uh,
want me to mention the name.
Kevin at Dot Market, right?
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I
Yeah,
sold
I'm
one
buddies
of
with him.
those.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I sold one of them there. I sold two English sites a long time ago. There was just whatever it is. When Google started hammering, I was like, I sold it. But yeah, those the thing that how I sell my website, so that marketplace and privately and most of the time. Because there wasn't a marketplace and there was a forum. Sometimes you go in a forum, but you get really bad offers, and
Yeah.
everyone wants just when you go on those forums, you try to sell them everyone how much you are making. Send me a screenshot. So it's time consuming just to keep sending those reports. And oh, can I buy it for this? No, thank you. So, but if you put on, if you have a marketplace where you can sell them, and I know maybe some people I don't want to pay 15%. I don't want to pay 20%. Okay, you don't want it, but if you calculate the time that you want to deal with the buyer to check if they're scammers, if I think it's worth paying the 15% if the middleman is doing a great job. That's how I see it. And that's why when
Yeah.
people say when you buy an agent domain, oh, I can buy it on GoDaddy. Yeah, yeah, go ahead. Go and spend the whole day
On this
checking the
fake
backlink,
DR.
checking yeah, so we are in a global economy. We all share the piece of the cake. So this guy takes 15%. I will sell my website. The other guy maybe will grow the website. So let's be just helpful to each other. Because the big dog here, it's not me, it's not you, it's Google, it's Amazon, it's big guys. But we as affiliate market, we always fight between each other. We all go
Yeah.
on Facebook, whatever. Oh no, no, you. And I'm pretty sure this big guy they're just laughing about us. So yeah, I think the 15% worth it if you really respect your time and you want your time to spend it somewhere. Maybe the 15% that I'm giving, the 15% maybe I'm spending outside, I don't know, traveling or do whatever I want. So for me, that's how I see it. We always look how it benefit us. It's not just about the money sign that, oh, I will pay 15%. And you are going to list your website in a platform that it will get you maybe 100 or whatever, 200 potential buyer instead of you go, like I said, you go on forums and you deal with these guys. Oh, I'm not going to buy it. See, so
Yeah.
if you calculate all that time, it's worth the 15%.
There's another thing on that. So this is not related to foreign stuff. Just my experience with working at EF for over 7 years. But I had this friend. He had the same problem, the 15%. He had a really nice, like complete white hat, or as white hat as you can be as an SEO affiliate website in the fitness space, and he sold it for I think it was like 240 or $250,000. And I asked him, well, why didn't you like use us? Like, it doesn't offend me, like whatever. Like maybe we
Yeah,
can do
of
something next
course.
time. It'll be great. And he mentioned the 15% thing. He's like, I just didn't want to give up 15%. I'm like, okay. And then I asked him, well, how much was the website actually making? And he told me, I was like, dude, you should have paid the 15% because we would have sold that website for close to $500,000. Like, even when you take out our 15%,
15%.
you would have made
Mhm.
way more money by paying us the 15%. So this is
Yeah,
something I've seen very common, especially as you get into like multiple six-figure deals. Like the buyers become more savvy, and usually the seller is nowhere near as savvy because it's usually like the first time. People don't sell businesses very often, right? Like maybe one every couple years depending on your system, but it lets the buyer come in. Like the only benefit of the buyer not using a broker is that they get you for a cheaper price, which that's why they will tell you like, yeah, you shouldn't pay that 15%. That's very smart of you, right? Because they don't want the competition of everyone like
yeah,
doing the competing bids on you. Otherwise, the buyers would always use the broker because of the time saving thing. But if they go off market, it's usually because they're trying to get a better deal, right? So that's something a lot of sellers don't think about. It's not true in all cases, right? Some buyers won't do that to you, but it's something to be aware of if you're selling private, whether you use us or not, But yeah, great stuff,
yeah.
man. Well,
And
we're
sorry to
oh
say
no, go
that,
ahead.
I'm not just because defending Empire Flippers or whatever it is. Actually, when
Please
you
defend
guys
us
even
all
launch,
day, please, Azedine.
you guys even launched, I don't know, maybe some people don't know about it. You guys spoke about it in Saigon Summit, that to invest in people who will do the job for you. They buy the website and they grow it, and you can take a profit from it when they
Yeah,
sell it. And they give you, yeah, when I saw the program launched by Empire Flippers, I jumped in right away. I know there was a fee to pay to Empire Flippers to take, a money if you make money from the guy. And I was okay with it. All right, well, I jumped in because I saw the
right.
opportunity. If I have the cash just sitting there instead, I better give it to these guys. They know what they're doing. Or do you want to give that money to the bank sitting there to give you a pennies? No, I would rather risk it with these guys. Obviously,
Yeah,
you have to be a person who can risk or can tolerate to lose too, right? You have to be clear on that. You can't just throw 10,000, 20,000. Oh crap, I lost them. Well, you have to be aware of that. But again, not defending, but when I saw the opportunity, I jumped into and I invested into that because I want that money to grow, not to sleep.
yeah, that's our sister company, Webstreet, I believe you're talking about.
Yeah.
But you're right. The thing I always tell people, I teach my marketing team actually this because I go through a very simple process when I'm thinking about like high end marketing, like brand positioning, stuff like that. I
Mhm.
ask like, okay, what are we selling? So at Empire Flippers, we sell businesses. Who are we selling to? Investors, entrepreneurs, all that good stuff. And then I ask the emotional punchline question, which is like, what are we really selling? Like, what's the emotional outcome? And that emotional outcome is an opportunity to change your life. And most people, when they hear that, they're like, oh, that sounds very positive. But then I always caveat that, remember, the opportunity can go either way when you buy a business from us. We might change your life very negatively. Like you might lose everything. And like if that makes you uncomfortable, you should not be doing this. So like, people think I'm always like just promoting that everything is going good all the time. But I actually never try to do that when I'm marketing. I think people before they buy a business should be well informed like yes, you might lose everything, which also actually helps us sell more businesses counterintuitively because like, oh, I trust this guy. He told me I might lose everything. It's not like
Yeah,
endless
because
growth all the time, right?
yeah, the transparency is the key because if you go to the bank, they will never insist, oh, you will lose the money. Oh, you will lose the money. No, give us the money.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Banks don't fail. Well, cool, man. We're at the end of the podcast, so I want to ask you three rapid fire questions. You just answer them as quickly as you can. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go.
All right. This is the highest pressure part of the whole show, so I hope you do a good job here. All right. Question number one: what are the best hidden growth opportunities for people wanting to get into non-English websites today?
Brazil, Emirates, Mexico.
Great. What tools or resources can people use to help them run their foreign language sites effectively?
Use your brain as number one. Check on the
That's not a real
competitors.
answer. That's not a real answer. Don't use it.
One tool that I always use is Ahref, but maybe it's a bit expensive for others, but the only tool I use. And the second one, I can use it with Google Planner. If you want to run a
Hmm.
campaign for $1 just to get the data, you can start with that if you don't have enough funds. You can start with Google Planner instead of Ahref.
That's a good idea to get access to the keyword tool. All right. Last question, hardest question. What has been your funniest moment working in the internet marketing world?
And maybe the competition, that's the only one.
Your just laughing at your competition all the way to the bank. That is a bold one. They might hear you on this podcast. Come after you. That's awesome, man. Well, thank you so much for coming on. If someone wanted to connect with you and maybe pick your brain or learn a bit more, where could they go to connect with you?
You can find me on Facebook or on LinkedIn. I know Alex from Odis always, man, build your brand, build your brand. I'm not that guy, but yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn or on Facebook.
Perfect, man. We'll link to your profiles in the show notes. So thanks for coming on, man. I really
Awesome.
appreciate the conversation.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Greg.
There you have it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it got you inspired at all the different things that are happening in this industry. And of course, if you just want to buy a highly profitable business, you can always go to empireflippers.com/marketplace, or maybe you want to make an exit of your highly profitable business, and you could go to empireflippers.com/sell your site. I've been your host, Greg. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure you leave a review, give us a like, a follow, share it across social media. Talk to you all soon. See you on the next episode.